Okay, that's everyone in, Zoe.
Fabulous. Should I make a start, do we think?
Yeah, go for it, and I'll let anyone else in that turns up.
Hello, everybody. Hi. My name's Zoe, another Zoe, best name ever, obviously. I I am a menopause sufferer, just like yourselves. And this month I am hosting the call. So little bit about me. About 8 years ago, my period started getting more frequent. My period pain was getting worse. I've always had PMT, that was getting increasingly worse, to the point where I would spend 3 or 4 days a month just sat in my car crying because it was like a mini breakdown every month. So I did loads of research and I thought, I think I'm perimenopause. So I went to the doctors and she said, oh, no, you're not. You're too young. Your periods get less frequent, not more frequent. I think you've got PMDD, which is premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which is basically PMT on acid. So she put me on antidepressants. It's a familiar story that I'm sure you've heard a lot of ladies saying. So I went on the antidepressants and yeah, that sorted my head out. That was a lot better, but all my other symptoms weren't managed at all. And then the Davina documentary came out and there was just bing, 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 light bulb after light bulb going off for me. I had horrific night sweat. My mental health was obviously not in a good place. I had horrific joint pain to the point where I couldn't turn over in bed without screaming out in pain. It was just like every part of my skeleton was fused. I had really itchy skin. My hair was thinning. I had like a bald patch here, and I've always had a big bushy hair. So I hated that. I really, really hated that. Nails going a bit rubbishy. So it was easier to say the symptoms that I didn't have rather than the symptoms that I did have. One thing I've never had is a hot flush. Never had that. But that's not the most common symptom, but it's the most common one that people hear of. But yeah, it's a complete misnomer that that's the biggest symptom because it's really not. So I went back to the doctors, fully armed with my research and my journal of all my symptoms. And she said, oh, well, we need to test your estrogen. And I said, no, you don't. I'm 45. Nice guideline. So you don't need to do that. No, I'm going to do it anyway. And it was just jumping through the hoops. So anyway, about 6 weeks later, I went back and she said, yeah, your estrogen's fine. I'm like, yeah, I know it is because I'm ovulating. I'm still having periods. Of course, I've got estrogen. So she said, right, what do you want? I said, I want estrogen gel and I want 1 pump a day to start off with. And basically that's my demands. And she said, you clearly know what you're talking about. I was like, yes, I've spent hours reading. So she put me on gel and that made a difference, definitely. I would say it decreased symptoms by about 50%, but it wasn't really adequate. So I was on Facebook and I was just Googling everything, joining menopause groups on Facebook, and I came across Zoe C, who told me about these omegas. So I was like, I did loads of research on omegas, and everything I studied said, as part of your nutrition, you need omegas in your diet. Everything, without exception, everything was saying you need omegas in your diet. So I researched all the different omegas, and I settled on these ones that Zoe recommended, and they have been an absolute game changer. So no more night sweats, no more joint pain. I'm lifting weights, I'm training. My hair has grown back. I have got new hair growth here as well, which is just amazing. So my antidepressants, I'm on the lowest dose. I've actually got a review with a menopause specialist in a couple of weeks because I just want to go over everything and make sure everything's all right. But that's my story, really. I'm sure you've got similar symptoms, similar experiences. I believe that women in the 40s are being sort of ignored, that no, you're too young. Well, actually, no, we're not too young. I just think we've been dismissed for so long and being told that we've got depression and anxiety that that's the kind of stigma that it is, but it is not that. It is perimenopause. So that's my happy tale. But I'm a lot better, obviously, than I was. So I have got a guest speaker this evening called Ruth. Ruth, we can't see you. I don't know if you can put your camera on. Can you hear me, Ruth? Zoe, can you unmute Ruth, please?
Yeah, so I can't unmute her, but I've asked her to unmute.
Ruth, can you unmute, hon? So Ruth has been in the health and fitness industry for over 23 years. She's a Pilates instructor at the minute. She's always been into sports, was a massive swimmer in her younger years. That sounds awful in her younger years because she's not even old. Um, she's represented Great Britain in the biathlon championships in 2018, and she's represented Great Britain in the triathlon world champs in 2022, coming fifth and fourth respectively. So she's a proper athlete and everything. She's amazing. She's also won Health and Fitness Professional Awards and has been finalist several times for the Fitness Instructor of the Year. She's always doing CPD and extra courses. She's got like a million qualifications. And I know she's done an APPI menopause course as well in Pilates. So, sorry, I'll just get the dog up because he's bugging me. This is Harold.
Hello,
World's
Harold.
most, world's most cutest, but world's most annoying dog. So, Ruth, where are you?
Yeah, I've asked her to unmute. Can you hear us, Ruth?
Ruth.
Oh, I think she's gone off the call. Maybe she's been fiddling about. Because didn't you say she was on her phone in the car?
She is, yeah. So her husband's had to work late, so she's dropping her daughter off at football. So she was doing the call while she was at football. Like I say, her husband wasn't. He was supposed to be doing the football run tonight, but work happens, life happens. So she's been the football mum. So hopefully she'll come back. But I'll just use that text. I'm here, but I can't speak. I'll try and get back in again. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thought that's why might be why she left the call. Technology,
So,
eh?
technology. So I've been going to Ruth's Pilates classes
Oh,
for
here we go. Here she comes. She's back in.
yeah.
She's back in the room. Can you hear us, Ruth? You can unmute yourself.
Ruth, are you there?
Thing is, sometimes if you're doing it on your phone, you can't see it as clear, can you, as being on a
Yeah,
laptop? That's a
yeah.
problem.
Yeah, so I've been going to Ruth for about 5 years now. I went to her because I had an injury. I was doing triathlons and couldn't run. I was on crutches.
In the bedroom, Madam. I think so.
Ruth fixed me. So she's an amazing teacher. So I go to her classes, but I know she does online classes, which she started in COVID, and she's carried on doing that. And she's an absolutely amazing instructor. So if we just, while we're waiting for Ruth, Zoe, do you want to tell us a little bit about your story?
Yeah. Oh, Ruth's appeared.
No, is it Juanita?
Oh no, sorry. It's because it's switched over on my computer. Sorry.
Yeah, I did on mine.
Okay, yeah, sure, no problem. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Zoe, and I normally host these calls. But tonight I'm a guest speaker because I'm always inviting people on to talk. So Zoe asked me if I would speak on the call tonight about my menopause journey. So I kind of really noticed changes, certainly in my periods, when I was about 44. I'm 50 now. I turned 50 last year. And you know, I was just really tired. Um, I, I was getting the hot flushes. That was probably, you know, the most noticeable thing for me. I mean, I just thought being tired was normal when you sort of got to 40. Didn't think it had anything to do with menopause. And like I'd always struggled with my aches and pains, probably since I was about 40. I always remember my mum saying to me, oh, once you hit 40, your aches and pains will kick in. And I happened to have a smear test, and I had a conversation with the nurse and, you know, just told her what was going on. And she said, oh, yeah, you definitely sound like you're sort of perimenopausal. And but she said, you know, to be honest, HRT's in short supply, so it's probably not something that would be offered to you. She said, I would go out there and have a look. There's some really good natural products on the market, you know, just see if you can source something that might help you. So I sort of carried on, really. I sort of plodded on as you do, you know, going through daily life. I was feeling ever so moody, and I think I was probably quite snappy to people at home. Everything would annoy me. You know, somebody not putting their cup in the dishwasher would send me off on in a rage. Like, um, so yeah, just sort of noticing all these things, and then I came across these products, the Omegas, like Zoe mentioned, but that wasn't the first product that I started on. I take fruit, vegetable, and berry capsules, and basically they are the equivalent of 30 fruit, a variety of fruit, veg, and berries in your diet every single day. And when I say that, I mean actually, you know, these are proper, these are fruit, veg, and berries grown in farms in really good conditions. They're picked at their ripeness, and then they go through a whole process where they're put into a capsule. They're dehydrated. They take the sugar out. They take the water out, and they're filled with vitamins and minerals. And that's what I take every day. And that was the first capsule I started taking. I noticed huge improvements in my energy levels. It was like somebody flicked a switch, and I was like, boom, wide awake, 6 in the morning, ready to get up, start my day. And I've been taking those for 4 years, and my energy levels have always been at an all-time high. I exercise, I work out 3 times a week, resistance training. I walk my dog every day, most days twice a day. I work full time. You know, I'm really busy. I've got a family, and without these capsules, honestly, my energy levels, I don't know where they'd be. And also my immune system. I haven't really had, Zoe and I were talking earlier, I haven't really had like coughs and colds. And so that was for me the first thing. And then I discovered the Omegas. I started taking them probably a couple of months afterwards, and that's when I saw my hot flushes improve. I mean, Zoe said she didn't suffer with hot flushes, but I did. Mine were like this all day long, go really hot to the point where I would have to strip off. I'd be sat here, the top would come off. I could be sat in the lounge in my knickers and bra. I think my husband thought, you know, great, she's stripping off, she's well up for it. But that wasn't the case at all. I was so hot. And that happened quite frequently. And luckily I work from home. So imagine that sat in work trying to, you know, get your clothes off because you're so hot. And one of my friends once said to me that she was in Tesco's and she had to just take her top off and walk around in her bra because she was having a hot flush, which I thought was hilarious. But that is the truth of it, ladies, isn't it? That is how we get, like, you know, we get so hot. So that was me. I did suffer with the hot flushes, but then I think the biggest thing for me was the aches and pains. So again, I didn't realise that aches and pains were a menopause thing. I started taking these capsules, and prior to that, I used to see a sports therapist pretty much most month. My neck, because I sit and work at a desk, and she said, "Oh, you classic commons, you know, because you're sort of slouching at your desk, you must sit up straight." But my neck, and it would affect my lower back, and I used to have to go and see her regularly. And then I started taking these capsules, and for ages, I thought, oh, my neck's been fine. And then, like, even now, I go and see her probably once or twice a year, if that. And my neck has been so much better, and these capsules have been amazing to help with my aches and pains. So the capsules for me have just been incredible all round. I'm so glad that I invested that in my health, and I've learned so much about because I did a course on being a menopause doula, and I've learned so much about diet, lifestyle, and nutrition. And whilst HRT is a really good thing for lots of people, I know, Zoe, you take it alongside the supplements. I think what I would say to anybody is, instead of just slapping on a patch or a bit of gel, we all must make tweaks to our diet and our lifestyle, because silly little things like drinking more water, cutting out caffeine, obviously reducing alcohol, all of those sort of things have huge effects. And making sure we're eating whole foods, cutting down on bread, gluten, even dairy. I mean, I'm fine with dairy, but I know our bodies they don't take lactose in so well.
Yeah, my body
hit
developed lactose intolerance.
And that's such a common thing as well. So, we all really, really need to look differently at how, what we're putting in our body, because our gut health is going to have a massive impact on our hormones. I mean, I've followed Weight Watchers for years. Sorry.
So I was just going to say, Ruth says she can hear us, so she can speak to us. We just can't see.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, because I know Ruth was on a bit of a time thing, wasn't she? Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Hello.
Sorry, I won't even go on about it. It's being mobile, isn't it? But thanks for introducing me, Zoe. You said some very kind words there, and it's nice to be here this evening. I think listening to everything that you've said, I hear this day in, day out from my clients, a lot of the symptoms that you describe, and I try and come at it from I just think, yes, it's a very challenging time for a lot of women. There's a lot of women that sail through it, and it's very much individual. And I think Zoe, you were just touching on it then, and the key thing is to get those key pillars of health in order before embarking on anything else. Getting the movement, making sure good sleep hygiene, nutrition, restorative movement, particularly because of the joint issues, making sure there's bone loading going on because of the fluctuation in hormones. Obviously our bones become more vulnerable, and really osteoporosis is what I see the most of with my female midlifers. It's we're talking 1 in 3 females in this country. I think it's even gone to 1 in 2 once sort of past that perimenopausal phase. So that's a big problem. So from a movement perspective, it's important that we strength train, all the things you've mentioned actually. Bone loading exercise, quite specific to the individual, and just see this time of life as actually the power years. Like for me, although I'm 47, I'm definitely perimenopausal. I'm just making sure that I'm hitting all those key pillars of health, and making it a priority, because I think it's difficult. Most of us will have children. We might have older relatives that also need care. It's that sort of midlife period when you've got so much more on your shoulders. So managing, life laundry, if you like, is really, really important. I teach Pilates, but it's very much geared towards functionality and making sure that I'm building the men and women to make them strong for everyday life. And I think the main demographic for me is midlife females. So everything that you've said, I've heard. I think everybody finds their own ways. There's a lot of people sort of, because there is so much out there, it almost becomes overwhelming now. There's so many There's so many people speaking out about it, which is without question a positive thing in comparison to what maybe our mums and grandmothers went through. But I think it can become confusing with what's the right way to go. Should I be doing this? Should I be taking this? Should I be running a marathon? A lot of pressure on women unnecessarily. I think you've just got to find those key areas and do the best that you can do, and make sure that you're looking after yourself in amongst everything and everyone that you might have to look after. It's difficult, and I don't think there's one size fits all. Some people really do benefit from HRT. Other people that I've known, other clients have tried it and it's not been for them, so they've had to sort of look at other areas of their life and maybe get the stress under management and find ways to do that. I think stress is probably the most difficult thing for somebody to manage because of the phase of life that we're all in. But it is also a period of transition where you can really get to know yourself and really sort your life out, and see it as an opportunity rather than, oh, it's negative, I've got hot sweats, I'm aching. Those things are awful, and some people genuinely suffer badly. But I think if you can take stock and little by little get on top of all those key areas, you can come out the other side twice the person you went in. So I think that's my view, obviously, but I do think it can be just perceived as such a negative thing, that everyone's got this negative mindset about it, and it doesn't always have to be like that. But it's a difficult road for sure. The physical symptoms are challenging, and even if you only got a few of the things that you both mentioned, it's a lot amongst everything else. But yeah, I think getting movement, so restorative movement, things like Pilates, yoga, mindful practices, I tend to find if I can get people to just breathe properly, that makes a massive difference. Definitely starting to strength train 2 to 3 times a week, which again seems overwhelming, but it can be done in little chunks. Definitely the bone loading, so bone loading specific, so adding in little hops and skips and things like that's really good for loading bones. Getting sleep is such a challenging thing for most because of the disruption, because of hormonal fluctuations. So that's a biggie usually. If someone's not sleeping, and I do see a lot of clients who are so sleep deprived, that's the big one. And pelvic health is a big thing. I specialise in pelvic floor health as well, and that is again a big thing that I talk about all the time, because a lot of women will say, I've got no control over my pelvic floor, so how am I supposed to exercise? If you're doing the right kind of exercise and you're doing the right kind of pelvic floor training, you can get through this and again come out better than probably you went into it. But there's things you can do. I've got a lot of links with women's health physios, and just, there is lots of ways that we can deal with that. But it is that's a biggie. And obviously the cardiovascular training around your health and movement is really important, because when we lose estrogen, it does affect our cardiovascular system, and it's not the one that it's a big problem. In fact, as we get into later life, the stats show that cardiovascular disease is more prevalent in females in the postmenopausal years, and I don't think that's out there. So I think, yes, we've got to strength train, yes, we need to load the bones, but we do need to make sure we're putting in that cardiovascular work. And I think that walking is probably the best thing you can do. It's that mind body movement all wrapped into one. Getting outside, being in nature, taking time to breathe, because just 10-15 minutes a day might just sort somebody out if they're struggling in their mind or struggling with anxiety. So that's a good one, really. And just getting a little bit out of breath often, just making sure we're challenging that cardiovascular system. But yeah, all those key areas, I think if people can get those bits right, and still want to go down the HRT line, the HRT will be more successful. I think if it's the first, and you're right, I think people are getting offered antidepressants and things like that when perhaps they're not depressed, perhaps they've just got hormonal fluctuations, hormonal issues that need addressing. I think really we, being totally honest, we are the guinea pig generation of a lot of this stuff, which, it'll be for the greater good in the long term. But it is such an individual thing. And, you can have, like you said, Zoe, about the blood tests, it's a snapshot on that day, and it could change the week after. It could change the hour after, in honesty. So it's got to be symptom based. And yeah, I think working out what's right for you, and being strong, being able to say this is the road that I'm taking. And a lot of these things might sound very idealistic, oh well, I'm just going to start, I've got to hit all these key pillars of health, and that in itself can be overwhelming. So just trying to do a little bit on each of those areas to improve can make a massive difference to somebody. And I've seen people get better and start to notice, hang on, my symptoms are improving just because I've paid a bit of attention to the fact that I'm not moving that often, I'm really stressed, I'm not sleeping, I can't cope with the level of work that I'm doing at the moment, and trying to manage kids and older relatives. Whilst we are Wonder Women, when there comes a point when you've got to sort of say, I can't manage all that, and trying to just speak to family members and getting them to understand that I need to do this. This is, I can't keep going on like this, because a lot of people do sadly end up in a bad situation if they don't address these things. But flipping back to the positive angle, I do think that it's an opportunity to just get everything on point, feel like you're really on top of your game. And education is key. Like Zoe was saying before, I've done loads of reading. There's so much information out there, and there's a lot more studying going on around the menopause. It's a hot topic, and there is plenty of information out there on the internet to dive into and make informed choices. And it has to be right for that person, rather than just thinking, well, so and so did this and they were fine. I think you've just got to go down your own road and explore everything, and just get everything in check first, and then take it from there. So yeah, it's a difficult one. It's hard to say, because I speak to, it's the conversation I'm having on a daily basis, pretty much every client I talk to, and different experiences. So it's interesting for me, and I always say, oh, tell me how you get on, because it's good for me to know so that I can tell other people. But no one person is the same, because we are all individual. But I think that there's just those big things to get on top of. And, it's not a magic one thing. It doesn't just happen overnight. But I think it is the time of life to get those things in order, because it will set everybody up to have a better, longer life anyway. So, yeah, I hope that's helpful. Have you got any questions?
Thank you very much. Yeah. We need to future-proof ourselves. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, and it's really interesting what you were saying about cardiovascular, because we're all told now, oh no, you should only be doing like HIIT training maybe twice a week for 30 minutes. You need to be doing more strength training. But I know, like, when I've been for a run the past few weeks, I'm dying. Like, it's really hard. And I just think, oh my God, I used to do cardio like 45 minutes, 4 or 5 times a week, and then do strength training after that. I can't even do a half an hour run. So it does go. So I was talking to someone else about this at weekend, and we were saying, no, we need to keep that cardiovascular exercise. We need that. Yeah, the strength for our bones, our muscles, osteoporosis, sarcopenia, absolutely. But we need to do that cardio for our lungs and our heart. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that one up. So thank you very much. I know you need to scoot off, don't you? But we'll post Ruth's details, because she's an amazing teacher. You are actually amazing. You know I love you. So we'll post Ruth's details, and then if you want to get in touch with her, like I say, she does virtual. You do virtual classes, don't you?
Yeah. And I'd be happy to help with anything. If there's anything that I've mentioned tonight and you think, oh, I'd like to talk further, happy for you to pass on my email, Zoe. Happy to chat outside of this group to anybody. Just not to come to me for any services, just if you wanted to delve a bit deeper into any of the things, you know, I've just spoken about, I'm more than happy to do that. We could arrange a call or whatever.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. I think pelvic floor, I might get you on another time to discuss pelvic floor, because I think that's a biggie and it's overlooked. And
yeah, it's massive. Yeah, it's a whole evening in itself. But yeah, absolutely, I'd be more than willing to do that. Apologies I can't be with you for the full session tonight, but
it's okay.
it's great that you're doing these things.
Yeah, thanks. I'll see you on Thursday. See you on the mat.
Take care. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.
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 Thank you. So I think it was Hayley mentioned about supplements. So I like Zoe, I take the fruit, veg and berries, and I also take the vegan omegas, 2 of these every day. I also take a magnesium supplement. However, in these omegas now, so these particular omegas, I was doing some more research today, and these ones are vegan. So a lot of supplements you can buy, especially fish oils, omegas, they come from fish. And I was reading that if you get them from the fish, they can actually be contaminated with PCVBs, fluorins, dioxins, and PBDEs. Now, they're all massively chemical names, but every single one is carcinogenic. So just whatever you're buying, just look and be careful what you're buying. But these ones are vegan, so no fish are harmed in the making of these. Fish don't have the vegan, they get the omegas from their diet. So we source these from the algae, which the fish feed on. So we're going straight to the source. We've got our own plants that we harvest. So it's top-notch quality. It's bioavailable, which means your body recognises it and utilises it rather than excreting it out in your urine, like you find with a lot of multivitamins and supplements. So omega-3, so there's 3, 7 and 9. 3 is great for your cardiovascular health. It's also DHA and EPA. So the DHA and EPA is only found in the fish and the algae. So if you're buying it, other omegas, you won't have that in it. And that's recently been shown to help with sleep as well. The omega-6 can help stimulate skin and hair growth, regulate metabolism and maintain your reproductive system. And the omega-9, that can help reduce your LDL cholesterol, your bad cholesterol, and it can increase your good cholesterol. It can control your blood sugar level, raise your energy levels, and improve your skin elasticity and health. So these are absolutely ram-packed, full with goodness. And I know, I mean, you can read all you want, but it's a lot of anecdotal evidence on these. I've got friends on these, and they say, do you know what? I can handle my anxiety better. I'm sleeping better. I'm not as stressed. Just things like that. But I know they've definitely helped me with my hair, with my joints, with my night sweats. Oh my God, my night sweats, yeah. The vitamin D is also in these. That can help regulate calcium and phosphate, which are needed by our bones, which obviously we need because of osteoporosis. Zinc is also in these little beauties. So we need that for a healthy immune system, cell renewal and healing and building proteins. It's also got lutein, which is good for your eye health, and it's anti-inflammatory. There's evidence to suggest that lutein is better than vitamin A, which you find in carrots, for your eye health. And there's also lycopene, which is a really powerful antioxidant. So that mops up free radicals, helps your cells not develop and regenerate, should I say. So yeah, these ones that I've found, just high quality, just what. And I also have a magnesium, calcium and zinc supplement, only because I've got them left from when I bought these, so I'm just finishing up those. What else do I take? Zoe, do you take any other supplements?
Well, really, it was just the fruit, veg, and berry capsules like I mentioned earlier, and these omegas, and then I, like you, Zoe, the protein. Again, protein is such a good thing that we need to increase in
magnesium.
Magnesium's
a good one. That's really good for your mental health. And magnesium, I think it helps absorption of, is it calcium and vitamin D? I can't remember, because the mind just boggles, doesn't it, when you just start reading everything.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. but definitely for me, magnesium helps with my mental health as well. So I notice if I don't take that, I have a magnesium spray as well, but that can sometimes give me itching. So it's one of them, innit? You've just got to try everything. But yeah, is there any questions? If you'd like any more information on these little beauties, message. Now
I was going to ask. Sorry.
Sorry, go on.
Do I put my hand up?
Please, miss.
I was going to ask what are those vitamins called, and do both you Zoe's both take the same vitamins?
We do, yeah.
So you were just talking. So Zoe number 1 on my left, we're talking about the same as Zoe number 2 on my right. Those vitamins I've got terrible memory.
Yeah, so they're not actually vitamins. They're capsules, and they've got vegetables in them. You get a vegetable capsule, a fruit capsule, and a berry capsule. So it's not a multivitamin, it's actual whole food that you're getting. So I was listening to something the other day, and they were saying, oh, this 5 a day, it's obsolete now. You need to be eating 30 different types of fruits, veg, legumes, beans, blah, blah. You need to be eating that. So in these capsules, I'm getting 32 varieties every day. So I'm quite happy with that. And we was just saying that there's so many calls and things going around at the minute, and yeah, I've got a sore throat. I've had a sore throat for a few days, but the girls in work, they're coughing for weeks, and I'm nowhere near as poorly. So and I've not had time off sick, so they definitely help, definitely.
And you take this
Janita,
alongside
we can send you a
as
link.
well. Oh, thank you, Zoe number 1. Sorry, my question, what did I just say? Oh, yes. Do you take that alongside HRT as well?
I do, yes. I have HRT as well. Yeah, I was osteoarthritis. It's gone. I only read a little bit of a message. I just thought I have pain in the wrist. So with reducing estrogen, yeah, that can affect your joints. So estrogen's an anti-inflammatory. Is that